Hello, everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast as part of another radio edition. This is an audio podcast as part of a research and analysis overview and an audio podcast as part of a radio edition that looks at another art book works in production, and where this art book looks at art care and equality. This is an audio podcast as part of the Science Bostics, and this is an audio podcast in around another Storm Robotics production, and where this art book is part of a Storm Robotics collaborative. So this art book in around art care and equality has a basis where the art book is for all healthcare professionals, frontline health professionals, multidisciplinary teams or MDTs, healthcare service users, healthcare service providers, long-term healthcare disease sufferers, and those in amongst the general public or the public, and the art book has a basis in around art linked to important elements of healthcare between health sectors, from an alchemy perspective, and where the art book looks to raise understanding of health and disease through art and descriptive research, or for example, descriptive statistics, and the sort of crux of this art book is to reflect healthcare and aspects of this highlight aspects in around healthcare, and also highlighting the pertinence of preventing disparities, and at the same time raising equality. So as part of this art book, the TOC, or the table of contents, has a basis in around some background, and then there's a sort of an intro that describes different topics that have been tagged and co-developed between two social media platforms, and also there's in this art book there's works in around sort of descriptive analysis, some descriptive analysis. There's a perspective. There is there is a where the descriptive analysis is, there is a basis in around the healthcare service user perspective, a perspective basis, and some of the data, and then there is the perspective, a sort of perspective from healthcare professionals or healthcare service providers, and and the art book has or the TOC has a basis in around discussion, conclusion, so summary, acknowledgements, and then there's an overview, in around the social media platforms, the RPSG and KDARs, and the art book has as part of the background, a background. For example, there is a basis that informs, by encouraging sort of context across a range of health disciplines. This will also this sort of reduce it. This highlights the importance of increasing sort of literacy as well as language, and improve overall healthcare in amongst the healthcare amongst the healthcare population. The as the as in the case of the other art books, as in case with the other art books, as part of Storm Robotics Collaboratives, the art books this art book has notes pages throughout. The art book can be used as sort of as a book as sort of as a notebook, or as a notebook throughout. And there is throughout the art book, as per the intro, or part of the intro, there's there's a basis in around the descriptives, sort of descriptive statistics in around the analysis of particular and specific questions that have been put forward to in between healthcare service users and healthcare service providers, and where where in this art book there's analyses, sort of surmised analyses amongst these specific questions. And then there is some sort of discussion. There is some discussion where within this art book the author the collaborators have highlighted that, for example, future research will potentially need to explore sort of looking at sort of the quality of how relating a sort of advice and educational aspects around the different themes throughout this art book can be utilized sort of prospectively, and in around the different themes. The there is there are a point there is a sort of as part of the discussion as well. There is information to highlight that specific points in around the different themes could be delivered, could be highlighted and delivered through allied health professional led e-clinics to support service users, healthcare service users as part of and toward best practices. There is sort of a conclusion page within a conclusion page throughout within the art book as well. And then there again there's acknowledgement page, and then there's sort of about pages in around the two different social media platforms. There is also There is also in this particular art book, there is a sort of a list of references or citations that can be referred to for those who look to who look to who look to who look to uh, uh, who look to find out sort of more information around works as similar to the works highlighted through this art book. So this is an art book, another art book that's in production as part of the works under uh, under um, under under Storm Robotics. That draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio sorry this art book, as in the case with the other art books, have been collaborative between the two social media platforms, the RPSG, the Renal Patient Support Group, and the renal the Kidney Disease and Renal Support Group, or KDARS for kids. And so both and so and so the art books will be again are in are in production, or will be in production. So again, this draws this audio podcast sort of overview around this art book on art care and equality to a close. This has been an audio podcast as part of the radio edition as part of a research and analysis, as an audio podcast as part of the Science Bostics, and this is an audio podcast as part of another Storm Robotics production, and where the art books is part of a Storm Robotics collaborative. Thank you for tuning in.